Welcome to the September 10th, 2019 episode of Reactive Consciousness, the in-depth podcast about what happened this week in our lives. I'm your host, vysethebold, and this is...
Lotus Prince.
And Keith Sutherland.
Whoa. I love doing the Lost Boys.
Just Fakafon, sorry.
Were you in that show 23?
Well, maybe a few years ago.
Oh yeah, with Jim Carrey, right? That was the one.
Yeah.
Oh, Jerry Bruckheimer film. Wow, this is off to a good start. Okay,
it's the greatest start, dude.
But we are one day away from the Dreamcast birthday. By the way, it was the 20th birthday of the Dreamcast, so I just wanted to do a quick little shout out to that.
Yay.
Yeah. Nowadays, though, I think that most of the games have escaped the Dreamcast, luckily. So most of the essential games. So.
Even back in the day, a lot of them escaped to the GameCube and the Xbox.
Yeah, it's true. Or got sequels there.
Like, I didn't realize it at the time,
equivalent.
but like Skies of Arcadia, Sonic... Well, I mean, I knew about Sonic Adventure, but like Crazy Taxi, like those are all Dreamcast games.
Phantasy Star as well, I think.
What was it?
Phantasy Star Online, yeah, that was on the GameCube as well. I think it was also on the Xbox, as well as the Dreamcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what was it, 18-wheel wheel trucker?
No, I don't know.
Also
I wouldn't know about that.
It's kind of like similar to Crazy Taxi, only you drive a semi, you know.
Oh, okay.
That kind of
and
thing.
even Soul Calibur 1, finally, it took a while, but it made it to Xbox 360 digitally.
There was a game... Sorry, there was a game before Soul Calibur 1, right?
Well, Soul Edge, known on consoles as Soul Blade for the PS1.
Yep.
Man, that's so old. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Guilty Gear 1 equivalent. You know, like it has weird versions of the characters, like proto versions of the characters, that kind of thing.
It also had a mechanic that never came back, where you can clash weapons and button mash to like do a power struggle with them. And I think you could destroy your opponent's weapon, which like
it also had like mild blood too, which was never a thing.
Yeah, they just really never did any of that again.
Yeah, and the main character was Mitsurugi, which he really isn't the main character.
I get it,
anymore.
But the series just didn't go that way.
Yeah. It's just like one of those alternate reality versions of something
there isn't really a main character, but if I had to say there was one, then it would be like Kilik or Shanhua.
I think more like Ivy's like the spokesperson for the series, the mascot.
Well, Ivy's always
nowadays.
on the cover, but she's not really main character material.
Nah. No, but like if you had to pick one, Kalik probably, or no, Shanghua, and Tali are Shanghua is like the wielder of the Soul Edge, isn't she? Or... Yeah,
she got like a small version of the Soul Calibur. There's no Tali. You mean Taki, the ninja?
Taki, that's what I meant.
Yeah,
she
has associated with, to a degree, Mitsurugi and kind of Sophitia, sort of.
Yeah, she has some relevance to the overall story. I forget what it is. But
I think you were thinking of Talim. That's why you picked up.
Yeah, she's a character too. She's from Soul Calibur 2.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, having said that, apropos of nothing, we do have quite a bit to talk about. So I didn't want to dwell on the Dreamcast too long, but seek out some. If you want to get into the Dreamcast, play some Zombie Revenge and some Dynamite Cop.
Well, you'll have to actually get a Dreamcast for that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's why I'm recommending those. Those are a couple that are still chained
really
to it. GigaWing 1 and 2.
Dynamite Cop is freaking amazing, by the way. It's a sequel to a Saturn game, but it's way more playable. The Saturn game is like brutally difficult, and there's no. I don't think there are continues, or if there are, they're limited.
Yeah, there are like 5 of them, but you need way more than that.
Yeah, you go game over.
What's another good one? The GigaWing 1 and 2, Mars Matrix. Play Mars Matrix.
Well, I know Power Stone 1 was ported to the PSP. Was Power Stone 2 as well?
Yeah, but that's the way to play them is on the Dreamcast.
Well, yeah, the Dreamcast was cool because it's one of only 2 systems I'm aware of that just naturally came with 4 controller ports, the other being the GameCube. Usually you would have to have like some sort of multi-tap or something. There's probably some other game.
N64.
N64, that makes sense, yeah. I mean, now you don't really need controller ports because wireless controllers are a thing, but back then that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, there were a couple systems where, that kind of thing was easily accessible, if not, like for instance, the PC Engine had multi-tap that was required for 2 players, so most people had it. So it was
Okay.
easy to have. But anyway, we should move on. But show your Dreamcast some love. Take it, dust it off. Maybe get upgrade it with a nice HDMI mod that they have nowadays.
Yeah, I gotta
That
do
also
that.
has upscaling. It's beautiful. You should come over and play it sometime soon.
I ordered the mod. I just gotta get it installed.
Oh, okay. Contact Rob Dakoitas, or Dakotas, I think his name is, on Twitter. He's a good dude. He's a good
Nice.
dude. All right. Well, we should move on because we had the Nintendo Direct this week, and we have a lot to talk about. Like almost too much to talk about because there was a lot of good stuff. Like, so I was so excited about it that I called up Lotus and he didn't care. So.
Nah, it's not that I didn't
That
care. It's that
sounds
I
like
didn't.
Lotus.
No, it's not that I didn't care. It's that I don't watch Nintendo Directs because
Sure.
why should I? I'll just come
You
back
don't
when they're
have a
over
Switch.
and everyone will give me the bullet points.
Yeah, and you don't have a Switch, so I mean, like, yeah.
Well, no, I mean,
But-
I still like a lot of the information that was released, but when it comes to certain like like a certain reveal, for example, like, all right, let me look up that 1 minute video on YouTube. I can do that.
Sure. Well, let's move on. I mean, this one was foretold, and we talked about this a bit in previous episodes, but we have Overwatch coming to Switch, which wasn't much of a surprise.
Yeah, confirmed. Yeah, we'll see
yeah.
how the. I can't wait to see how the netcode works.
Oh,
Because
probably
Nintendo's netcode
terribly.
sucks with freaking Nintendo games, so have fun with Overwatch.
It's probably going to be terrible.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to be pro level, but it'll be good for the kids. This is going to be this is definitely going to appeal to a lot of the younger crowd, especially the people that are going to be buying the Switch Lite. So this is a good thing. I mean, I think they had to work it to make sure that it worked really well on it. But luckily, that game is not too graphically intensive, so it's not.
No, it's not graphically intensive, but it's
yeah.
action intensive. Like
Sure.
I mean, it's a competitive first person shooter. Like you need to be able to quickly flick your aimer somewhere and fire and not like miss because the game isn't prepared for you, like with lag and such.
Yeah. I mean,
it's not Battlefield 5, but it's still intensive.
It's not for me, but I don't know if you play any FPSs like this, Fakafon. Do you play this kind of stuff?
Yeah, I used to play a lot of them, but nowadays, since my PC is not strong enough, I'm pretty much just playing some really small games. But I played
Sure.
Overwatch, PlanetSide, stuff like that. It's always fun.
Ooh, PlanetSide.
Yeah.
You're kind of OG, man. Awesome. That's good stuff. Well, not for me, but I get the appeal, and it's a good business move. Especially since it's really popular.
It's like a lot of games that I watch speedrun. Like a lot of that stuff I wouldn't play. I don't play multiplayer almost anything. Certainly not FPS, but I like watching it played well. Overwatch is fun for me to watch.
Me too. I like watching somebody play it as well, like a spectator sport, and I also like watching a friend play it. It's actually pretty fun. Especially if they're on a pretty fun team or something interesting's going on. I actually like it quite a bit. I tend to like, for this type of game, I tend to like the co-op experiences, like the zombies modes are pretty fun in Call of Duty, like in
sure.
Black Ops with the disgraced magician.
Yeah, I've only really ever seen
Jeff
those played
Goldblum.
single player, but multiplayer you can really get stuff done.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But moving on from that, we have Super Kirby Clash, which is a free-to-play game. They've been really experimenting with Kirby games on the 3DS with monetization and things like that. I think it's really their testing ground to kind of test out new ideas. But yeah, this is a new free to play game that is kind of like a boss rush kind of game, kind of like the boss rushes in the Kirby Superstar kind of games, or the
yeah.
Kirby Deluxe games. But it's four player simultaneous, which is pretty fun actually. So I downloaded this. I haven't had a chance to play it, but I mean, why not? It's free. So and I bet most of the stuff that you have to buy is just hats. It's not like something where you have to pay to win, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's more of a customization kind of deal, or maybe for certain powers or something. But moving on from that, this is more important. So the Trials of Mana remake was already announced. For those of you that don't know what this is, it is Seiken Densetsu 3, or the sequel to Secret of Mana. This is its official English name.
Was this the one that had never been translated until just now?
Correct.
Because
so
we got Secret of Mana, we got Legend of Mana, but just they just didn't touch this for a decade.
We even had the original. We had Final Fantasy Adventure, which was Seiken Densetsu 1.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, it was rebranded as Final Fantasy, so it would sell.
Yeah, I mean, the remake of that back in the day was Dawn of Mana, and then there's Adventures of Mana, which was the second remake of it. But yeah, this is the remake in the kind of newer style that kind of Secret of Mana was remade a little while ago. The cool thing is that this is existing alongside the old versions of these games. You could play the original version of Trials of Mana right now if you get the Mana Collection, which also has a physical version now.
Yeah.
You can find it in stores, which is really freaking cool to see a newly published Super Nintendo game that we never got on store shelves, which is really cool. But Trials of Mana actually looks to be the remake looks to be a lot more in depth of a remake than the Secret of Mana one. It looks like the Secret of Mana one was still overhead, and they didn't change much other than the way it looked. It just had a graphical upgrade. But this one does behind the character camera and stuff like that. So even the perspective is changing, and it looks like to be a major upgrade. This, unlike the previous one, I think will be worth playing, or it looks like it will be. So I think that's pretty neat. They showed it off a little bit more because I think more people were really focusing on the release of the classic one last time. So it's cool that they give this more of a spotlight. Moving on from that, this is a really fun indie game that a lot of people have been talking about, Return of the Obra Dinn. This is a very popular game. I have not played it yet, but it looks to be my type of game.
Yeah, I've heard it was very good, but I don't really know much more about it.
Me neither.
Yeah, it's a black and white first-person investigation game, and you're on a ghost ship investigating what happened. It actually has a similar conceit to Echo Knight, which
there's a connection. Jeez.
Yeah, that's a similar conceit.
Remember Echo Knight?
Well, you would.
Yeah, I would. But
it's right in your wheelhouse.
The Obra Dinn is the name of the ship, right?
Correct. So, it's a popular game on Steam. It sold really well and got reviewed very well as a point-and-click adventure kind of title.
Nice.
The gimmick in this is that you see memories attached to certain items, just like in Echo Knight actually. So when you investigate, you see what happened, or echoes of what happened. So from what I understand, so. Cool looking game. It has a really cool art style. I mean, black and white is always eye catching these days. I mean, Pato Box is really awesome.
Pato Box is freaking
Tell me about it.
Yeah, Gato Roboto. I always want to say Gato Roboto, which I'm absolutely sure is said. And Downwell are all really great, black and white games. I mean, there's red in Downwell, but barely.
There's a little bit of. There's some color in Pato Box as well.
Yeah, but it's very, very small bits.
Well, yeah, it's color. Done Sin City style, where they want you to notice it.
Exactly. I'm excited about that. It's not a new game, but I don't own it on Steam, and if it's a good running version, I always double check to make sure that the frame rate isn't too terrible before I buy it on Switch. But granted that it's fine, which I'm sure it will be, I'll end up getting that. It looks like a good time. So, along with this, the next one that they announced was Little Town Hero, which is a new game by Game Freak. And this is the makers of Pokemon. They're mostly
Yeah.
known for making
Yeah,
Pokemon.
Game Freak has made some other games, but like,
Oh, yes.
it's come to a point where like a lot of people don't really know what they are, except
Yeah.
a new one was like Giga Wrecker, so some people might have heard the name, but it's effectively the Pokemon Company, not to be confused with the company that's
The
literally
actual
called the Pokemon Company. Yeah.
But Game Freak was actually has a really interesting history. They started off as kind of like the diehard game fan of Japan. It was a company that was originally started as a fanzine.
Oh, wow.
Like a bunch of like basically high school students and then college students started up a like a fanzine that they distributed at like Comic-Con and stuff like that about like the original Nintendo, and then they made their first game for the Famicom, which we got in the U.S. It was called Mendel Palace. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this game, but
No, sorry.
it was one of my favorites growing up. It's a game where it kind of looks like Bomberman, like it's overhead and you have like one room. But instead of dropping bombs, your characters are on like stacks of tiles, like stacks of cards almost, and you push your enemies to the walls by flipping the card decks. It's really, really fun, and there are like power ups and stuff as you shuffle the decks of tiles that you're on. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, it sure sounds like it. Flicking cards. Woo!
Oh, look it up. It has some really catchy music too.
I know. Sometimes it's hard to explain why a game is fun, but it's just funny.
If you saw it, you'd be like, okay, this is very charming.
Yeah, that's.
And the bad guys were like themed around like different things, like all the bad guys in one world were like bodybuilders, and then like all the bad guys in another one were like swimmers, and they would like swim across the tiles. It's really cool. Really original. They always do something funky. Like they made Drill Dozer, which is one of my personal favorite games. It's a GBA game. Let's see. They made Pulse Man, and Tembo the Badass Elephant. You ever hear of Tembo the Badass Elephant?
No, but it sounds cool just by the name.
Yeah, it came out only a few years ago, maybe within 5 years. And it's similar to Sonic. It's fun. You play a badass elephant.
I gotta look this up
really?
afterwards.
What's his name?
Tembo.
Oh, okay.
The badass elephant.
First name Tenbo, middle name the badass, last name.
But
badass.
The big thing about this was that apparently Toby Fox is working on the soundtrack with Game Freak, which is pretty cool. The composer of Undertale and also the I guess lead designer of Undertale as well.
Yeah, he did Temmie took care of like the visuals, like the character designs and stuff like that. But I think Toby Fox, he obviously did the soundtrack, but I think he did a lot of the other parts of the project.
He just didn't do the art, I don't think. So yeah, but he did everything else. He wrote it and everything. But really cool stuff. It looks like it's kind of like a light RPG where instead of battling monsters, you talk to them and you try to beat them in a debate. It's
so
fun.
Persona.
Yeah, but fun, like cute and
it's like Persona but fun.
You know what I mean? It's not dark.
Yeah,
it reminds me
like cute.
Sorry, it reminds me, in one of the Romance of the Three Kingdoms games, you could actually enter debates and fight it out with your power of diplomacy and shit. It was pretty funny.
Nice.
Man, I will never play one of those games.
You don't like that type of game?
When I just have an aversion to it because whenever I saw it a friend playing it because the original games were all on the NES back in the day, and I saw somebody playing it. It was just the most it's just words on a black screen. That's what that game is to me. It has its fans. I'm not putting you down. It's just not my thing. And they make a lot of versions of that. Nobunaga's Ambition is the Japanese version, because the Three Kingdoms one's China. They also make an American Civil War one as well.
Really?
Yeah, and they made they made a pirate one too. Koei. This is all Koei's like simulation games. Yeah.
Okay.
They all like stem from that. So anyway, that looks like fun. But here's like the big thing that came next was Smash news. So this, I'm not gonna be revealing anything new to anybody, because if you cared, you knew way before we posted this up. But of course, Banjo and Kazooie are out now. They said they were basically out as they were presenting, which is always fun when they do that.
Speaking of Banjo Kazooie, one thing that was cool about that is Sakurai, the head of Smash, tweeted out that the music for Banjo Kazooie was still done by Grant Kirkhope. He was the composer of the N64 version, and Grant Kirkhope is therefore the first outside of Japan musician like in Smash Brothers, which is pretty cool.
Oh, that's really cool. Really neat. Well then, we also have another big thing. A bunch of Mii costumes were announced. The biggest one being Sans was added as
obviously everyone was going nuts for that one.
And Toby Fox said that he
Gunner costume.
Yeah, and Toby Fox said that he produced a custom Megalovania theme for him, which is pretty great.
That's correct. Sans is the only one that is a separate purchase. It doesn't come as a bundle.
Really?
It's its own thing, yeah.
Nintendo know what they're doing, huh? Those little.
No, they do.
Oh boy. He's got what sounds like I don't know if it's like if this is the Megalovania theme, but like I saw on YouTube something that was called Megalovania, but it didn't sound anything like it. But there was like a sweet cover of I think it was like one like not a town theme, but like one of the conversational themes, but it sounded pretty badass.
Awesome. Well, that's really exciting in itself, but the other ones were actually really cool too. Then they got overshadowed. So this is a great one. I'm a big fan of this, and everybody knows I'm a big Konami fan. Goemon.
Yeah,
that's actually the one of the list that you have here that I was not aware of.
Yeah, it's pretty rad.
That's probably because it's just like all the angry Smash people on Twitter right now. They don't know anything past like fan love. You know what I mean? Like,
are you bashing on the Smash fans? Come on, man.
I should.
All of them.
They deserve it. Especially for their reaction to the next thing, which I thought was awesome. Anyway, not what I'm saying right here, but.
Yeah, the next bullet point on the list, not the next Mii costume, yeah.
Exactly. But moving on from that, a couple Mega Man things, both Proto Man and Zero, which are pretty cool. I did not expect Proto Man, and I'm a big Proto Man fan from way back when he was known as Whistle Man.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. They didn't treat him well from the beginning when they introduced him, so... But they were like, oh, he has his own theme that sounds like a whistle. We'll call him Whistle Man.
Perfect.
Yep. But those are both welcome additions. I mean, Zero was in the last one as a Mii costume, so that's not too much of a surprise, but it's still welcome. Zero's a badass character, so.
Yeah, too bad he dies like every single game.
Oh, I mean, come on. You got to kill somebody. It might as well be the guy who always dies.
He's the Kenny of the series, you know.
What?
I was going to say
Zero
Wild
died
Dog.
Again.
No, I was going to say he's like Wild Dog from Time Crisis.
Oh yeah.
he never dies, but he always blows up.
And everyone
he has,
loves him.
More and more prosthetic limbs as
it's so good. He's like mostly machine in Time Crisis 5. It's so good.
Well, actually, Zero outlives X because he gets his own series in the future.
That is true.
Yeah, it's actually kind of funny. But also a Team Rocket costume, which is pretty fun.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Funny to see.
And this is like classic Team Rocket, like in the Game Boy game.
Yeah, with the black shirt. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not the Jesse James Team Rocket.
Exactly.
It's the Butch Cassidy Team Rocket. Anybody remember that one episode where they showed up that one time?
Where they were the real, the real Rocket.
Jesse and James
Team
have been
Rockets.
doing the theme, like the rhyme, like they've been doing it wrong the entire time.
I never saw that.
They're the Invader Zims
Yeah,
of
like
the
to
rocket
protect
world.
the world from devastation. They're like, to protect it from it. Like, we clearly don't do that. We're like the bad guys. It was fantastic.
Oh, that's pretty funny.
Yeah.
They clearly sent them on a stupid mission to keep them busy.
Yeah.
Like, you see that kid,
busy
take
they
his
did.
Pikachu and whatever.
Yep.
Oh yeah, exactly.
I gotta have that one Pokemon. All right.
That one guy. Go get him.
Yeah, not the Raichu that is objectively more powerful.
Ash's Pikachu is like really good, you guys.
You can't fit him in a Pokeball. That's about it. Has a girl's voice.
Yeah, it has Tony Chopper's voice.
Oh, it does? He does. Whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, from One Piece.
Cool.
All right, moving on. This is the big one. New Smash character, and my favorite of the announcements. Terry Bogard from King of Fighters, from SNK's King of Fighters, and Fatal Fury. So
yeah, this was one of those cases where everybody on Twitter either did not know who he was, or was like us, or was like us, and happens to like have some kind of Neo Geo arcade machine nearby when we grew up, or like, or I saw him
or one in my house.
Yeah, like I saw him for the first time in Capcom versus SNK 2. I didn't know who like any of the SNK characters were at the time, or they were from like Mexico and Latin America, and they were instantly like, yes.
Yeah,
hell yeah.
Yeah, so like a lot of Latin American countries, they had Neo Geos. That's actually where I bought my my Garou Mark of the Wolves, which is the last Fatal Fury game that they made. My copy of that came from Brazil, I think. So yeah, I mean, like everybody in South America and Latin America really played SNK games because they actually like had good distribution down there, and
nice.
they could buy the cartridges rather than multiple cabinets, so they were popular.
Like America
really
was all
weird,
about
huh?
Street.
It's so weird to think about that the popularity of certain characters are dependent on how consoles are distributed and stuff.
Pretty
It's
much,
like,
yeah.
Like, I mean, like America
Absolutely.
knows very little about, say, the Commodore 64. And as far as fighting games are concerned, we're all about the Street Fighter, but like down there, it's King of Fighters for forever.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and so much so that I think one of the only Mexican-developed games that I know of is for the Neo Geo, which is Rage of the Dragons, which is a badass game. You would swear that it was Japanese made by looking at it.
That sounds familiar. What is it?
So Rage of the Dragons is an unofficial Double Dragon the movie, the game sequel.
Oh, that's why. Okay.
It was originally made as a sequel to the Neo Geo Double Dragon fighting game, but they didn't clear the license, so it's the characters are very obviously reworked Double Dragon characters. However, the game itself is amazing. It plays great. It's like one of those games where it just feels right when you play it. It's just
I
like
know
one of
what
those
you mean.
things.
Game feel is so important, especially in a fighting game or anything
games,
like that.
Absolutely. It feels almost as good as Mark of the Wolves, which has the best feel, if you ask me. I love that. Fucking love that game. But it's amazing that all these people are raging, and he's like the star of one of the most highly regarded fighting games of all time.
Actually, you know what amused me? That it's kind of become a meme is apparently a lot of Japanese like little kids, just by eyeballing Terry, thought that he was like adult Pokemon trainer, which is like you can kind of see it. Like, it's pretty fantastic.
Dude, that's really cool.
The goofy thing is, like, King of Fighters games have been consistently made. Like another one was made like 2 or 3 years ago.
Well, yeah, I mean they used to be named like by year.
By year, yeah.
Yeah. What is it? 14 was only made like 2 or 3 years
12...
ago.
Well, no, I know, but like now we have 12, 13, and 14, but it used to be like KOF 98, 99, 2000, 2001.
Yeah. It's just so goofy to me. And like on the Switch, there are at least 15 games that I can think of that have him in it.
Yeah, but
and
you would
are
have to know.
displayed
You would
as
have to
him.
know to look though.
Yeah.
Like, who's looking for fucking Fatal Fury? Like, nobody cares.
I mean, there's the King of Fighters Gal Mix or whatever that's called. That was only released only a little while ago.
That's
that
true.
had a lot
That's
of publicity.
Yeah, Gals Fighters. Oh no, that was the Neo Geo.
I mean, he had boobs in that, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had a gender swap, but
right.
he was still in it.
There was also a Skullomania in there, right?
Skullomania is an
so
EX
good.
fighting layer, actually. That's a different fighting game.
Okay.
But yeah, that's a good one too.
No,
That's a good one.
wasn't he in Gals Fighters though? Did he get into
I
that?
think so. I'm doubting myself now.
Nah. I don't think was Skullomania in that one.
I think he might have.
Yeah, but it would have been a girl version of Skullomania, wouldn't it?
Yes, exactly.
Sure. Yeah.
No, I think you might be right. Now I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, Skullomania's in there. It's like, I mean,
wow.
like Skullomania is 100% costume anyway. You never see their face, so like,
Yeah.
That's
like
awesome.
A female
It's a great name.
Skullomania, yeah.
I was really happy when I saw her, because like Skullomania, like he was in like 1 or 2 games, and then he kind of vanished from
He was like
existence.
Street Fighter EX.
EX plus
EX2.
Alpha.
And I was like, but I like that character design. Bring him back.
And the name
Oh, yeah.
is just hilarious every single time, like Skullomania.
Skullomania.
He's like the main character of EX Fighting Later, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, I'm super psyched. I mean, boo on you for not thinking that this is cool, and like, I mean, this is amazing.
Even if you don't know who Terry is, his fighting style is cool. And by the way, remember how absolutely nobody knew who Ness was on the original Smash? And
Yeah,
now
that
all
was
of a
me
sudden
too.
everybody's
Point.
an Earthbound fan.
Yeah.
How about the Ice Climbers? The fucking Ice Climbers. Stars of one game that was terrible. That nobody knew about before they were released in Smash. I didn't even know about that game before
I gotta
Smash.
be honest. Whenever I see that kind of reaction, especially on things like Twitter, like you gotta remember, everyone is having a gut reaction, and instead of just like going to a bar and saying that to their friends, they put it on the net.
Yeah.
So that's why it seems so like out of a.
My only
can't wait for
regret
these jokers.
was my only regret was like the reveal trailer for Terry was hilarious because it was like the Smash invite going through all sorts of Neo Geo fighters, but
it's
finally
great.
making it to Terry. But as I'm seeing all the Neo Geo fighters, I'm like, oh man, bring all of them in. Give me
best all the
Iori, dude.
invitations,
Bring
all
him
of
in.
The best part is somebody like cut Geese's like part
the
of that
funniest
into
thing.
the reveal for Tekken, his reveal to Tekken. So it's like he missed this invitation and fell into Tekken instead.
Oh, nice. Yeah, speaking of which, part of the invite was Geese reaching for the invitation and missing it and falling out of the building like in Fatal
Which is
Fury 1.
hilarious.
Nice. Because Geese just, Wild Dog always blows himself up, Zero always dies, Geese always falls out of the building, like the old movies, like Batman 89, where like you look down on them falling off.
Well, so many games end like that. Like Final Fight ends like that. The Streets of Rage 1 ends like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but none of the Streets of Rage end like that.
Oh, maybe,
Are you sure?
maybe
But
just
Final Fight, you definitely knock him out the window. But I forgot about this. Do you look down on him falling down?
I don't think so.
Because the looking down on the villain falling down, that was done all the time in movies at the time.
Yeah, because it's Die Hard.
Die Hard did it. Dick Tracy did it. Like 89 Batman, I think, did it.
I think even the Ninja Turtles did it.
Ninja Turtles 3 did it. Actually, wait a minute. Shredder did fall off the building. I don't think you looked down on him falling, though, but he definitely fell off.
Yeah, no, he falls into a garbage truck.
Yeah, but I don't think you have that angle, though. You do in Turtles 3, but nobody gives a shit about Turtles 3.
I made another funny. Anyway,
No, that was Turtles 2.
Funny.
No, that was Turtles 2. He just said something like completely irrelevant in Turtles 3.
I made a funny. Anyway, I think this is great. I mean, I'm just waiting for these people to do a heel turn. Like the people that are raging are gonna realize how cool Terry is,
Of
and
course
all this,
they will. It's like
all
fucking-
the
it's
awesome
like,
shit he
We all
says.
know that's gonna happen. Like I said, like everyone has that little like reflex of like being like, oh no, not this guy, and then they calm down, they enjoy
Bust
the guy.
a wolf.
Yeah, no, I was going to say,
Kawakeza!
Terry's voice acting is some of the more entertaining fighting game characters' voice acting. Like, hey,
Oh yeah,
you!
definitely.
Are you okay?
Yeah, they
He's
do
so
this guy.
fun.
But
Get serious.
he's the best. I love him. Power dunk. It's so good. I love it. And you can also have him. You can also have him fight Ken again, which is like his main rival in SNK versus Capcom too.
Yeah, that's true.
They seem to be friends as well, because like their little intro animation was Ken tossing Terry his hat, and he just catches it, puts it on, like yeah.
They're always sparring. It's like it's a friendly rivalry.
Yeah, it's like Ryu and Ken. Like, all right, let's go again.
Yeah, Ken and Terry are buds, man.
Yeah.
But he also, if you want to see some badass pixel art, probably the best pixel art ever made was King of Fighters 12. Just look at his loop over and over again of him like just bobbing up and down. It's so badass.
Doing that. Yeah, he's freaking badass.
So
I wonder.
good.
You know what I really want to see though? What his final smash is? Because like the King of Fighters games never had like ridiculous over the top super moves. They would do a shit ton of damage, but it wouldn't be like all cinematic. So like what's his final smash going to be? Like a major, is it going to be like Capcom versus SNK 2's like level 3 power geyser or something?
Yeah, I would imagine 1, 2,
3.
Because he did something like that in Mark of Wolves as well, which is very cinematic. It'll be okay.
And by the way, now that Terry is here, I mean, like I would love to see them bring in Geese. That'd be amazing. Or even Rock, if you want to do a kind of Echo Fighter.
Rock Howard?
Yeah, Rock Howard.
Yeah,
now,
awesome.
Despite saying I would love to have Iori earlier, I don't think it'll happen because Iori's not from Fatal Fury. I think he's from King of Fighters. So
he is.
You would probably need Kyo first, and I don't know how many people care about Kyo.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
And there's also K-Dash, who is the current main character. I mean.
But again, whatever. I guess he's a little less bland than Kyo, but
here's the thing. We were lucky enough to get him at all, and I'm just on the moon about it. I could talk about ages about this, but we got to move on. Another surprise announcement, and this is surprisingly big. They said that more fighters are coming when they said there weren't going to be. So there is one as part of this pack, this DLC pack, still unannounced and still on the way out. But they said that there are even more characters on their way.
Crazy.
That's
which is
really
nice.
And who knows who they're going to be, by the way, because Terry himself is like still in development. They had like a loop for him and like a power wave, but like they haven't fully programmed him yet. So it's more like he's going to happen.
I'm still hoping for Bomberman. Still,
that would be interesting.
Hey, you know he's a great choice. He's a great choice, and I'm on the moon about that because they have to rebalance the game every time one of these guys comes out. So
yeah, it's crazy, huh?
How many fighters now? Over 70?
There's a ton. It looks like Mugen now. It's just freaking ridiculous.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Actually, it actually functions. It's like a good game.
Mugen if it worked. Yeah.
Mugen was a ton of fun, and having
it's great.
Like, it is insane for someone like me who's like a little older. I've grown up with like those Mugen games where they just like mission mash like every arcade games they could into like a really shitty emulation. But now that we have a game like that officially with all of these characters from all these companies, it's crazy.
It's like the home of nostalgia. It's like the home of all the stuff you loved when you were a kid.
Yeah, you know what would be interesting is you know how with Ryu and Ken you'll get a little bit better versions of their moves if you input their fighting game versions instead of just pressing B or something.
Yeah.
You could even do a degree of their combos from Street Fighter, which makes it pretty crazy. It would be interesting if they did that kind of adjustment with like Soul Bad Guy from Guilty Gear.
No.
Just absolutely fucks up your shit.
Oh, jeez. Soul Bad Guy's awesome. I was thinking it would be really cool if they did something like add Crash Bandicoot. Because Crash Bandicoot's on the Switch now. I mean, it's not unfounded.
I could see that happening.
I mean, they tried to get him for All-Stars, for PlayStation All-Stars, and couldn't get him.
I would love a Guilty Gear character just so they could bring their theme over, too.
Yeah,
even though Kai Kisuke is not the main guy, it's really Soul Bad Guy. I would love Kai Kisuke's theme. It's like the theme. If you know any of the music in Guilty Gear, it's probably that one. It's really good.
No, Lotus, you only get Robokai, and that's all you get.
Dude, Robokai's hilarious. I would take Robokai.
That'd be
And,
something.
like, do you know what Robokai's theme is, by the way?
Yeah, it's
No?
like a derpy version of that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's fantastic.
It's so good. But you just get that music and nothing else.
And you have to play as him in his Guilty Gear Iska version. Where you have to
He
press
was
a
the
button to
main
turn around.
character of that game. The parody character. It's like making Dan Hibiki your main character.
Yep.
I like that.
Well, I mean, Tingle has had like 3 games.
That is very true. Yeah.
That is true. But moving on, we got to get to other stuff.
Sorry.
That was the biggest news, so that'll take up the most time. But there's plenty here. So one of the major Wii U exclusives is escaping the Wii U. Tokyo Mirage Sessions, Sharp FE, is making its debut on the Switch, which is going to be great for fans of both Fire Emblem and Persona and Shin Megami Tensei.
Yeah, this was brought up a long time ago, but just for the record, the Sharp FE, like FE is for Fire Emblem, and Tokyo Mirage Sections is TMS, which is SMT backward, which is Shin Megami Tensei.
So it's a stealth-related title to both series.
Yeah.
And they are adding content too. It's not just a port. They are adding a new song.
Nice.
And some new references to the new Fire Emblem game as well.
Nice.
So
cool.
it's going to be the definitive version. No reason to play your old copy, which is pretty cool. One of these days, I think we're gonna do a core con where we talk about like games that are locked to their platforms.
Oh yeah.
That we want to see escape.
Speaking of which,
fun.
we got
That'd be
another
cool.
one that was locked for like over 15 years. That's finally escaping.
Oh
one?
yes, yeah. Go ahead, Lotus, with this one.
Yeah. Like of all things for me to be happy about on a Nintendo Direct, I've made comments before about how like Nintendo systems, like especially the Switch. Like, finally, I can play this, like, 7-year-old game on this brand new console. Like, wow, the Switch has Skyrim? Finally. I've never been able to access Skyrim. But, like, one game that's been locked to its original console for a long time was Doom 64.
Oh,
Not only that,
yeah.
but you don't want to play it on its original console either.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, it's fine on its original console, but, like, is it, though? So, like, Doom 64, it's cool not only that it's coming to new consoles, or a new console, but like just the fact that people freaking remember it, because the thing to mention about Doom 64 is that it's not the 100th port of classic Doom. Doom 64 is completely its own game with its own soundtrack.
It's a
and
sequel.
Even its own monsters.
It was the original Doom 3.
Yeah.
Like it was the third game in the Doom franchise, which is pretty cool. It was also made by John Romero and John Carmack, yeah, they helped make it, so it's a legit Doom game. That was only on one console, and was an original game, and people loved it.
It was a solid game.
People really like it, and it's getting an enhanced port. You know, it's not going to have any of that N64 fuzz that everybody hates.
And it's also not going to have any of that N64 controller.
Oh,
Nope.
Thank God.
So it'll have dual stick controls, which is going to be a first for the game outside of the fan port to PC.
That's true, actually. Doom never got like, no, Doom has had mouse aim, I guess, but like Doom hasn't had like dual stick controls like until Doom 3 on the original Xbox, right? Was that dual stick?
I'm trying to think of the first version of the original Doom that would have had it, and you're probably right. It's probably the original Xbox port of Doom 3 had Doom 1 with
that did come
controls.
With Doom 1. Well, either way, it took until the Xbox.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think the PlayStation version had analog support, so I don't think so.
No, because. Oh, you mean like just the option? Okay, because with the PlayStation, your controller might not have even had analog sticks.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I don't think supported it like the Alien game, Alien Resurrection had dual stick support.
Yeah, and people hated it for that at the time, which is ironic.
Ridiculous.
Can't we just play a normal game like GoldenEye 64 where you hold R and then move the control stick to aim so you can't move while aiming? That's my way to play.
Well, that's like I said earlier, huh? Every time there's a change or something you don't really know, there's always this little reflex every time.
Yep. I want to
Well,
hold
Wind
R and press
Waker.
C down to duck.
Wind Waker was like that, a
Yeah,
little bit.
that's true.
Oh yeah, I myself could not stand like the thing with Wind Waker is that I remember seeing like a high res version of like Link fighting Ganondorf, like just a still image.
Oh yeah,
And I was
trailer.
like this is what Ocarina of Time might look like on the GameCube, and I was like, oh my god, really? And then Wind Waker came out, and I was so mad at the visuals. But when I finally ended up playing it, it turns out it was like one of the better Zelda games out there. I was just salty at first, and then Twilight Princess came out, and that was kind of what I'd been waiting for in the first place. So it was like it basically was Ocarina of Time with enhanced visuals.
Well, this will be the third N64 exclusive that is getting a Switch port that is much better on the new platform.
What
I mean,
were the other two?
Turok 1 and 2.
Oh, that's right.
Switch
That's right.
Yeah, so
those really hard games. All right.
And they're great.
They're brutal.
They're a lot of fun though.
Oh, I can't play them. They're too hard, man.
They're rough, but they're cool.
Yeah, that's true.
Speaking of rough, man, I have been having a hard time getting through Sigil. Jesus. But anyway, I skipped past it and moved on to Doom 2. But anyway,
ironically, Doom 2 is an easier experience.
Well, because it's like
I know it's
from
much
the beginning
older,
of the
but
game again.
when Doom 2 first came out, it was like such a step up in difficulty from Doom 1. But like, you're playing Sigil and going to Doom 2, so it's like, finally.
Sigil's like the hardest official, unofficial Doom thing. It's ridiculous.
But if Sigil is Doom 1 though, like a Doom 1 mod or whatever, then you are of course going to encounter new enemy types in Doom 2.
Sure. Yeah, I just got to the Hell Knights, that you were talking about.
Oh yeah, and when you first see them, you're like, oh no, a variation of Baron of Hell. But like, it's half health though.
Do you remember the context in which you first see them?
What, the Hell Knights?
Yes.
No, just the Barons.
Oh, so the Hell Knights are all on a gigantic platform together. There are like 8 of them.
Oh god.
And you're like, oh my god, a whole bunch of Barons. But then you realize that you could hit a switch and crush them all.
oh, is this the level called the Crusher?
I think so, yeah.
Actually, wait, where Hell Knights?
It's a lot of fun.
No, I think they were on that, yeah. There was like a Spider Master. No, I think the Spider Mastermind was on the Crusher. Whatever.
Yeah, well, moving on.
Yeah.
We've got plenty of other things to talk about here.
Yeah, looking at the list, are we going to be able to go through all of this, you think?
Well, we are splitting up things into 2 episodes here, so I should preface that. So Corcon is going to be a bit of a sequel here, a little bit of a spoiler here for our listeners.
Oh my
god.
Don't tell anyone.
I'll never tell. It's a secret to no one because nobody sees it.
It's a secret to nobody.
Secret to everyone. We're openly saying it, but still nobody knows. But Deadly Premonition gets a sudden port to the Switch.
Isn't that
yeah, that's pretty funny. And apparently it was like it's quite buggy. And Swery actually tweeted out like, "Sorry, we're working on it." So that basically means that every single thing Deadly Premonition has been released on has been buggy in some way. Apparently, the PS3 version is the most stable.
Yeah, and the PC version's not too terrible either.
I heard the PC version was kind of rough. Like maybe better than the Switch version right now, but like a PC, like apparently PS3 is the way to go.
I mean, it's Deadly Premonition. It needs to have a little bit of jank.
That honestly, that does kind of like add to the charm, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's scrappy.
If I can go, can I do a little apartheid on this?
Oh, please.
Okay, so speaking of jank, recently I've been playing the game Neverwinter Nights 2, right? And
yeah. Good game, man.
It's like the game of jank. Every time I play, it bugs in a new, different way.
Oh yeah, it's like Fallout 3. I love the jank in that game. Oh.
Yeah, except I'm towards the end of the game, right? Like everyone's level 18. It's crazy. There's a big war going on, and I'm stuck at a section where I can't talk to anyone. There's no one to fight. I can't go anywhere, and there's nothing to do. So that was cool.
It's like playing GoldenEye when I was a kid. Like the objective disappeared.
Oh god,
it sucks.
But it's terrible because, of course, I saved because like, oh, cool, everyone's dead, save. Yoink, I stuck myself.
That sucks.
Yeah, it's like 30 hours to get there, too, so I'm like, fuck.
That sucks.
Anyway, sorry about that. Go ahead.
No. Enjoy this kind of stuff. But yeah, apparently it is like a combination between this and the limited or the special edition that came out for PS3. Apparently doesn't have the extra story bits, so you are missing out on that, unfortunately, on the Switch. So who knows if that's coming? But it came with a surprise announcement. To everybody's surprise,
yeah, this was ridiculous.
Deadly Premonition 2: A Blessing in Disguise, a sequel to. Man, I hope this one's janky too.
Me too, man. It has to.
I hope it makes my Switch turn into lava.
I hope that every character in the game speaks in rhymes and then says, "So says Mr. Stewart."
I can't wait.
Oh god.
I hope you can eat a sinner's sandwich.
I just can't wait. My wet dreams won't dry because of this.
Wait, what?
Yeah, we're never gonna get a Dark Dream. Like of all things in the world, we get Deadly Premonition 2, which nobody was expecting. But Dark Dreams Don't Die? No, that's never getting a Chapter 2. I don't know.
But it gets a parody sequel name in a Leisure Suit Larry game.
That's absurd.
I guess it's good to be remembered somehow.
It's some joke that somebody made in the boardroom, and they're like, "No, we're naming it that."
Yeah.
No, we're totally doing that. But here we are talking about it, giving it publicity to no one. But there's Divinity Original Sin was a nice surprise as well. A lot of these like Diablo-esque RPGs are really making their home on there. I can't wait to play the Infinity Engine games like you just brought up, the Neverwinter kind of stuff that's coming out. So I hear this is a very good one. I just don't know much about it, unfortunately. Do you know anything about Divinity Original Sin?
Very little. Is that the game where you can play a skeleton?
No, that's Skullomania. You should play as a skeleton in every game, but I hear this one's a good one.
Killer Instinct's got you covered.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's true. What's Spinal?
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Spinal? Yeah, Spinal. Anyway, moving on. Some news about Pokemon Sword and Shield. I'm not much of a Pokemon guy. I know Lotus isn't, but it's still cool to see this kind of thing. Are you much of a Pokemon guy, Fakafon?
I used to be, but it's been a while since I played, so you know.
Yeah. Well, these are welcome additions. For the first time in the series, that you can actually customize the way your character looks.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
Cool. Yeah, which is pretty neat. And there's Pokemon Camp, which has like a multiplayer element, I think. And Pokemon Cooking, and this kind of set Twitter ablaze. I think they only announced this because they knew people were going to react to it.
Really? Why?
Well, where do the sausages come from, Fakafon?
Yeah.
Look,
you make sausages in the cooking mode. Where do they come from?
We don't question it. We just eat it.
So there are multiple swine Pokemon. So who knows? But
it's a little disturbing to eat a Pokemon that like says its name to you.
Psyduck.
Yeah. You should only eat Onyx because they have a generic roar. It's fine. Yeah, I mean, you'll be eating rocks, but
delicious rock though. I'm sure there's meat inside.
Yes, I'd like to eat a Weezing. That's what I want.
Yum.
It's like the pufferfish episode of The Simpsons. Like you cut it and it just deflates. Like gas comes out.
Mmm.
Can I have some Magneton, please? Mmm.
Yeah, I want that one with the Jolly Roger on its face.
That's right. I forgot about that. That looks miserable and sickly with its own existence.
Ugh.
But so 2 new Pokemon were announced, and this first one is hilarious. Also, the salt on this one. Poltegeist. Did you guys see this one?
I don't think so.
Oh, it's brilliant. It's a little teapot.
Oh, Poltegeist.
Yeah, it's a teapot with where the tea in it is the ghost.
Oh, I see it.
I was wondering if it would be like Aladdin's lamp, like the ghost part of the Pokemon is like a djinn coming out of the lamp or something, like the tea spout.
Nope, it's the tea.
It's the tea. Oh, it looks pretty cute.
Okay.
I actually think it's pretty awesome, if you ask me. And Cramorant, which is kind of like a bird Pokemon.
Like a Cormorant.
Yeah, I'd rather the Poltegeist is way better, if you ask me. I'm going to quickly mention this, but we're saving the majority of our discussion for CoreCon on this one. But they did announce SNES games for Switch, which they immediately released the day after on Friday last week. We will be talking about that. It's a big deal. SNES controllers for Switch as well, official ones, which is pretty cool.
I think I saw that. They're a little bit different, though, right?
They're wireless, but they look like Super Nintendo controllers.
Okay.
They're pretty cool. And then moving on from that, I want to give that its due in the next episode, so I'm moving along here. So Tetris 99 has become so popular that they're giving it new modes for free for people that already. This might be a paid thing, but either way, this is another big deal. There's Invictus mode for people that have already gotten the highest ranking in Tetris 99. There's going to be daily missions where you could buy themes. With the points that you get, so you could dress up the game in like Zelda flair and that kind of thing. Kind of like in, Tetris DS, if you ever played Tetris DS. And 2-player share battle, which was really cool. So it's like a co-op fight the world kind of thing, where you have 2 people on the same team, which is cool. That's a pretty big deal. Now, I normally don't comment much on this because it's not really a series that I pay much attention to, but Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games had some retro-style events that looked really cool, where they used the pixelated versions of the characters.
Oh, nice.
So you'll be playing as like Sonic 1 Eggman. If you chose him,
Do you have his gloomy-ass boss theme?
No, but he has like the thin legs and he's very rotund.
I was just picturing him in his little pod with a wrecking ball.
Yeah, no, not like that. Like how he runs away in the
like
final,
Sonic 2 and...
final zone. Yeah.
Oh, and 1. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and 1 too. And he runs really, really fast, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was always my favorite in
Sonic
2, where you spin dash after him and you can't quite catch up. I'm like, are you serious right now?
But I thought it was really cool because like all the backgrounds look like you when you play as Bowser, you play as Bowser from Mario 1.
Where he throws axes.
Cool. Yeah, exactly.
The hell was that? Those axes.
Well, they had to put in obstacles. So
if you were a giant turtle, you throw an axe too.
It makes sense. I mean, they had their Hammer Brothers, so they're like, step it up, make it sharp.
Yeah, exactly. But it looked pretty neat, and it also has a story mode for once. The game is finally has a story mode.
What's the story mode gonna be? Winning the Olympics?
Pretty much.
Actually, they explained it. So apparently they are getting sucked into the previous Tokyo games in 1968. They get sucked into a video game that is a simulation of that.
That's insane.
They get to go to 1968 Olympic Games in Tokyo.
The heck is this,
cool.
Chameleon Kid?
Yeah. Wow, what a reference.
yeah, Kid Chameleon, that's old school.
Thank everyone.
That music.
The 2 people who are going to listen to this who get what that is.
We're here.
You guys all like Decap Attack, right? Remember Decap Attack?
Oh my god.
Starring Chuck D. Head.
That game was terrible.
It's awful. The sequel to Kid Cool. So anyway, moving on from that. Another surprise port. This surprised the shit out of me. Star Wars Jedi Knight 2 Jedi Outcast for Switch.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Wait, which one was that already? Was that the one where you run and
That
run?
is Dark Forces 3 Jedi Knight 2 Jedi Outcast.
Yep. You're Kyle Katarn, and you're like relearning your Force abilities, but the game can be played in the...
It's the third person.
I was going to say that, but like I think Dark Forces 2 let you toggle to third person.
Well, this one's meant to be played in the
third person. Yeah.
It's meant to be. It has platforming. It's considered one of the best Star Wars action games on foot.
Lightsaber combat makes a lot more sense because in first person it's weird.
But apparently there are a lot of fans of this. There's also I would imagine that if this does well, we'll get the sequel, Jedi Academy, which is the one after that.
What was the bad guy's name in this? Dasan?
I don't know. I played the original Dark Forces back when I was a kid. I absolutely was obsessed with it because it had the Dark Trooper and all that stuff and all these cool weapons.
What I remember blowing my mind back in the day was that some stormtroopers had rocket launchers, and if you timed it right, you could force push the rocket back at them. I was like, what? Or you could force choke somebody and aim your mouse. Well, like you could lift them off the ground like Darth Vader, or like
I think that was in Jedi. I think that was in Jedi Knight 1.
Jedi Knight 1?
Not Dark Forces. Dark Forces didn't have force powers. The original Dark Forces was just a Doom clone.
No, I'm talking Outcast.
Oh, okay.
Like Outcast was cool because you could force choke people and lift them off the grounds, but you could like move them when you did that, so you could just drop them off a ledge. It was amazing. And that's what I was talking about with the rocket launcher push as well. You did it in Outcast. It was freaking cool.
Yeah, I mean, this was the precursor to like Force Unleashed and stuff like that, where it got more extreme for sure.
Do you know what the Do you know where people first heard about the main character from Force Unleashed?
So Force Unleashed, Starkiller was like the original name of Luke. I think, in pre-production,
But do you know where people first heard about Starkiller?
Soul Calibur?
Soul Calibur 4, when he didn't even have a name.
Oh,
he was
was just called the Apprentice, right? Yeah. Or Boba Fett was first known as Darth Vader's right-hand man in a
1970s cartoon.
That was a part of the Star Wars
Holiday
Christmas
Special.
Oh gosh, no wonder I didn't know that.
Yep.
Remember that time when we were all subjected to Wookiee porn?
No, it was Wookiees getting off to softcore
porn,
regular porn.
Oh yeah,
Which was
it wasn't
fucking
actual
bizarre.
Wookiee porn.
And the dude's like in the living room too. It's like, come on, man, get a room.
Yeah, he's just like in the big easy chair, like in front of everybody. Like,
He's really furry. You can't see it. Come on. Anyway. Some more ports, but welcome ones. These are highly regarded. Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag and Assassin's Creed Rogue, which are the two pirate ones. People tend to love these in retrospect.
yeah, I heard they
really,
particularly
really
like
those.
Black Flag.
Yeah.
Rogue was like the kind of like the one that was overlooked because it was kind of like the last gen game, while the London one was released around this time, right? Wasn't it?
I don't know. Like, I don't even know that Rogue was a thing.
Yeah, it was released around the same time as another Assassin's Creed title, and that one was getting all the buzz.
Well, the London one was that Unity, or was it the next one?
It's Unity. Yeah, it was Unity. Yeah, that was the.
The next one was Origins, right? So the London one was Unity.
I forget how they go because I never played these games.
Yeah, same.
Unfortunately, because I think I would like them. That's the thing. Yeah, so Assassin's Creed Rogue and Unity were right around the same time. And then Syndicate after that. Okay. Yeah.
Oh wait, maybe was Syndicate the London one then?
Syndicate was the London one. Unity was French Revolution.
Okay.
Yeah. And then they went to Origins and Odyssey.
Yeah, Odyssey was Greek, of course.
Yeah.
Origin, I completely forgot. Origin was like Egypt, wasn't it?
Origins was Egypt, correct.
Okay.
For Ptolemy. Anyway, was it Ptolemaic? Yeah, Ptolemaic Egypt. So anyway, moving on from that, there's also a port of the original Ni no Kuni, which is a pretty fun game.
Yeah,
I never got a chance to play that one, though.
No, I was just gonna say that's one of those games I feel bad about. Like I bought it on PS3, never played it, and now there's like a remaster coming out. It's like, all right.
Well, I did play this game, and honestly, I found it kind of average.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a game that looks really nice. It's kind of like Eternal Sonata. Like that game is a beautiful game, but like, man, you need to have some patience to beat it. Jesus. It's just one of those things. It's kind of a slog kind of thing.
But it looks good.
I play Kingsfield for fun. Maybe I'll like it.
Oh my god.
you'll intentionally play something ugly rather than something that looks nice.
The funny thing about Kingsfield is that like everything in Kingsfield looks the same, but I actually move right along in my streams. I get through like a dungeon each time. Like I'm not just wandering corridors and not knowing where I am. Like it's actually moving along with getting cool equipment and stuff.
Well, but you do have a map.
Well, that's the thing. If you play the game the way it was meant to be played, which is without a guide, you're gonna have a bad time. Which is why nobody talks about Kingsfield today.
All right, guys. Well, with having said that, I think we should hit a good stopping point to move on to our part 2 on Thursday. Mm-hmm. So we're gonna do a quick outro, and then we'll join everybody in a couple of days. There just were so many announcements, even outside of Nintendo Direct, and we also want to get a chance to go over the list of Super Nintendo games that were added to the Switch, because it's a good freaking list. We want to give everything its due, so we'll be back in a couple of days and finish everything up. So that's the show for this week. Please remember to subscribe to the Corrective Consciousness YouTube and SoundCloud pages. While there, please give us thumbs ups, likes, and 5-star ratings on iTunes. It helps promote and spread awareness of the show, and any bit of encouragement helps keep the show going. You can also catch us on Thursday on our sister podcast, Corrective Consciousness, the podcast where we explore the inanity of pop culture. Finally, you can friend me as vysethebold on Steam, PSN, Xbox Live, Twitter, and BattleNet. Jeez.
Battle not dead.
God, I hope not.
BattleNet sounds like a really good game, though. BattleNet, I like it.
BattleNets?
Yeah, BattleNets.
Anyway, you can follow me on my YouTube channel. You can hit me up. My YouTube channel is called Lotus Prince. I'm tripping up. You can hit me up on Twitter at Lotus Prince. And finally, if you are interested in seeing my videos early, getting in on exclusive live streams, selecting upcoming games for me to Let's Play, which I'm currently doing right now, Folklore, and getting involved in conversations with me and other patrons on Discord, then please consider swinging by my Patreon account, which can be found at patreon.com/LotusPrince.
And also you stream.
I do stream. In fact, I'm streaming Kingsfield 2, the American version, which is the Japanese Kingsfield 3, and I'm getting near the end.
And as for me, my channel on YouTube is Fakafon. You can find me on Twitter as Lou Fakafon. That's Loup Fakafon, because French is stupid. And I wouldn't recommend my Steam though, because I can't do anything on that anymore. I don't have a good computer, so unless you want to play like Brawlhalla or something,
Brawlhalla's fun.
Yeah, but I can't really play anything else, So it's hey, let's
play Doom Deathmatch. Come on.
Look, just to give you
Doom runs on everything.
My computer has a hard time running Final Fantasy VII, so,
Well, it is the 7th one. You should just go to 6.
You'll be sure, it'll be easier.
Well, you both do a fantastic job, all jokes aside. You both have a fantastic Patreon that you run, so I definitely can't stress enough to support our two co-hosts here. Please do support them. They have really great content. So we will catch everybody for a sequel episode on Corrective Consciousness, where we'll finish up these announcements from this week and go over those SNES games. We'll catch you then.
Until next time, everyone.
See ya, everybody.